Welcome to the channel, guys. So I've got a video for you today, and this is Elon Musk absolutely torching a left-wing British reporter, and it's absolutely fantastic. So stick with me through this because we're going to break down some of her claims, and this is a lot of fun. If you would like, share, and subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. Huge boost to the channel. So let's jump into it.
Support not just the populist right, but the far right. In fact, very fringe parties in some countries.
No, I support the normal people.
Okay.
What do you call the far right, falsely?
You think as the normal person. Okay.
Yes. Literally, you could go back 10 or 15 years, and these policies were completely normal. In fact, one of the tricks that I think is funny. One of the things that's quite funny is to take a speech from Obama and Hillary, and then go to someone and say, who's sort of on the sort of what I call the lunatic left, and say, what do you think of the speech by Trump? I'm like, oh wow, he's the worst person ever. Actually, that was a speech by Obama, or actually, that was a speech by Hillary.
I agree. No, I agree that the center of gravity in this country has shifted. Certainly, the Democratic Party has shifted to the left. But
not only that, but if you would go back 10 or 15 years, what Democrats are saying is what Republicans are saying today. They all agreed with no open borders. All of this woke nonsense that's happened, none of them were espousing it 15 years ago, even 10 years ago. So Elon Musk is absolutely on point here.
But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people like Rupert
Not
Lowe. I'm
fringe
talking
right,
about
please.
People.
It's actually just normal people. It's just normal people. It's just normal people. And and here are the principles. And tell me which of these sound terrible. That we should have secure borders. That we should have safe cities. That we should have sensible spending. Which of those three are far right fringe?
No,
and I would like to just admonish you and the media for the absurd characterization of the far right. It is false and misleading and nonsense. Please keep this part in.
We'll keep all of this in, but let me
Don't cut this part.
Let me push back on that. Let me push back on that
because
you have
nonsense.
Elon, you have what is it? Close to 250 million followers on X.
Yeah,
you say things like,
popular guy.
Quote, civil war in Britain is inevitable. Just a question of when.
On the current trends, yes.
I mean, when were you last in the UK?
A few years ago.
Exactly. So
what does that have to do with anything? We all have the internet. You know, lady, there's this new invention. We can see what's happening in the UK and their unmitigated immigration and the effects of that on the people.
So I live there. I'm there the whole time. That is nonsense.
You live in a cloistered existence.
No, I don't, actually. And the numbers also disprove what you say.
What numbers?
All the numbers about crime. London is a much safer city than any city in the United States. Violent crime in the UK is not where you think it is. In fact, it's coming down. You have painted, and because you have so many followers, so many Americans believe it, a kind of view that Europe and the UK are kind of, overrun with terrifying Muslim immigrants. There's rape on every corner. There's a sort of civilizational destruction.
I haven't said any of those things. If you have a large and rapidly growing group of people whose beliefs are antithetical to Western beliefs, at some point there will be a reckoning. That they will try to implement their views, and those who oppose it will oppose it, and that's what you call civil war. And obviously, this is the trend. And you absolutely do live in a cloistered existence. And if you'd like, we can go on a tour of Britain.
Sure. I'd be very happy to come on a tour of Britain.
And you will see for yourself.
You come see my country that I live in all the time, and you haven't been to a few years ago.
I've been there literally 100 times.
But when was the last time?
Literally a few years ago.
You know why this exercises me? Because you have really shaped opinion about the UK. And so many Americans I come across and I have conversations with, and and I just had one the other day along the order of, oh, London's such a dangerous place. How can you know? There are sort of grooming gangs everywhere. There's violence everywhere. This is a picture that people get from things that you post or that are posted on X. And for example, you're posting for, what was it, 48 hours of Citizen Vigilante, that film which,
Yes.
paints a dystopian. I've watched it.
Yes.
It was not fun. I watched it yesterday. It's not a very good movie, but it also paints a dystopian picture of Europe, and it glorifies vigilante violence. It glorifies the murdering of a Muslim immigrant family. I honestly think.
Okay, so hold on for a minute, because I can name 10 different movies. Like, revenge porn movies are a whole genre of their own. So her point is really stupid, and especially with what just became public just last week, about the number of essays done by immigrants. So there's obviously a problem, not just in the UK, but the whole of Europe. We have countries pretty much where they were completely woke, and now they're, deporting everyone they brought in.
That it is irresponsible for you to put that up on X.
I think that it's a movie, and it's worth watching.
People say that you're a racist. What is the motivation for doing
Yes,
that?
I mean,
Are you
my
fomenting?
partner is she's half Indian, and and I have 4 children with her. One of them was named after a famous Indian physicist. So I would say I'm not racist, and also if you look at the people that are employed at my companies, we have senior executives of all races. There's I don't think there's any racism there.
Are you anti-Muslim?
I am. I'm against having if people are coming to a country with antithetical views. I am against that. I'm against that. I'm against. I'm against rape and murder. I'm against the imposition of rules and laws that are contrary to what we've come to accept in the West. And I think it's a crying shame that the sort of traditional media, like you, don't recognize this.
Why should you be able to shape European politics? You don't even live there.
I think of it as the sort of the West collectively.
But do you see why this makes people think that this man who has all this power, he's the world's richest man, he thinks he has a right to influence our politics? It makes people, it's why, we started this conversation saying superlatives. It's why people loathe you. I mean, some people do loathe you.
Yes, some people do.
But do you understand why? Do you think what you're doing is helpful for Western democracy?
Maybe some people do loathe me. And that's probably true. I don't care. But the fact that, as you pointed out, 250 million people follow me is that I think a lot more people actually like me than don't. And I think a lot more people hate you and the media more than you realize.
That is absolutely a fact. This woman has no concept at how much mainstream media is distrusted and hated for lying 24/7. Look, his point about when you come to a country and you refuse to assimilate, like in Texas, how they just got shut down. They wanted to, build this huge city and have Sharia law. No, we have a constitution. You don't get to do that here. You don't get to come here and attack citizens on the street. And that's what's happening in large part. And so the unfettered immigration has been a nightmare everywhere it's happened. You cannot import the third world and expect good things to happen. And one last thing I'll say, what he said, a reckoning would come and there would be civil war. yeah, that's a real possibility when you bring in such a high percentage like the UK did, like Biden tried to do, which we're lucky because Congress and Trump are handling our problem. But in the UK, the government is totally against them. I mean, they're putting people in jail for making memes and for complaining, literally putting people in jail for it. And we just saw in America a woman get put in jail for essentially speech. Look at, Musk is absolutely right. Woke is a mind virus. It is, and I'll use his word, it's antithetical to everything that the West stands for. And just realize that the West is great. And that should be the world's goal, is to be like the West, to live like us. And you notice there's nobody wanting to go live in communist or socialist countries. There's no one beating their doors down. Where do they want to go? The UK or America. That's the number one place. And it's because of our freedoms, because they'll be allowed to do and say what they want. But you know what? As soon as they get here, they want to change all the rules and they want to import their fanatical, theocratic Sharia law and all the nonsense. And I tell you what, I'm so glad that the world's richest man is calling them out, calling a spade, and not sugarcoating it. Anyway, I thought this was a good video to bring to you. It was entertaining. I was highly entertained seeing Elon Musk tear her apart. Guys, have a wonderful day. Please share the video out. God bless.